Well, good day everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm flying to many different airports across Virginia for the sole reason to get some stamps. This beautiful Cessna 177 Cardinal will be our ride for the day. But first, for those who are new to the channel, hi, I'm Sky. I'm a small-town plane spotter with big ambitions. My favorite hobby? Sharing about aircraft's history on planes you normally wouldn't research, as well as finding defunct airlines that I've never heard of. I also really enjoy sharing my video footage. Recently, I graduated high school and I'm committed to Kent State University in their professional pilot program, a dream I once had now coming to life. But now, let's jump right into the video. Okay, so the reason for this trip I took today was this Virginia Aviation Ambassador Program. Basically, every single public airport in Virginia has a little stamp you can collect and put it in this little booklet. And when you complete this entire booklet, you can get a free leather jacket. I say free. The guy I flew with actually said that this was the most expensive free leather jacket you could ever get because of the cost of having to visit every single airport in this booklet. So yeah, that's a lot of airports, and there are basically every single public airport in Virginia that you can land at, that there's an FBO available, even if there is or isn't anybody there. It's in this ambassador program. Pretty soon we were taxiing for takeoff onto runway 31 at Blacksburg. We climbed out and turned, getting set up to cruise at around 7,000 feet and around 125 knots with a good tailwind. It only took us an hour and 20 minutes. So our first stop is Lunenburg County Airport with the code Whiskey31. Soon we were breaking through a cloud layer, looking forward to some clear skies. The clouds were looking magnificent too, even though the plane did get pretty cold. The temperature gauge right around 45 degrees Fahrenheit at the worst parts. But I cannot get enough of this view though. It was actually amazing and probably the prettiest flight I've ever taken. As for the seat, it was very comfortable, with surprisingly good legroom for a small plane. It also had some amazing panoramic views to get pictures from any angle. Well, welcome to Lunenburg County Airport, population us. Because the FBO was open with nobody inside, just our stamps and a book logging who came in and for what reason. Most of the entries were for the stamp, which I found quite amusing. Almost as soon as we arrived, we're getting ready for departure.
Clear!
flight takes us out of Lunenburg County Airport, bound for an even smaller airport in Wakefield, Virginia. It's Wakefield Municipal Airport, airport code Kilo Alpha Kilo Quebec. This was a pretty short flight, and I was charging my phone for a lot of the time and just enjoying the view, so there is no in-flight footage, but look at that, we're on final for runway 20. Because I didn't get any pictures of the terminal building, here's a picture I stole off the In the air from Wakefield, we make a beeline right to Emporia Greensville Regional Airport, code EMV, with a flight time of 35 minutes. Another thing I found really cool about Emporia is the old runways that have been mostly destroyed, but still visible. It's another remnant of the past in aviation, which is kind of what this channel is all about. After another photo of a runway that once was, we come to the FBO where we were the only plane on the ground, with a jolly older lineman that seemed like he was really bored until we pulled up. When we radioed into land, he kept saying, "Roger," excitedly, because he finally had a plane, and we were excited to finally meet someone. When we were taking off and reported clear of the airfield, he radioed back, "Roger, have a great flight." It's just the kindness of some people in these small towns that you will never forget.
Clear.
We head out of Emporia and fly over to Lake Country Regional Airport, code Whiskey 63 in Clarksville, with a flight time of 35 minutes. On the ground in Lake Country, we had a locked FBO with a really sketchy footpath of what my friend called final, like you'll get a landing gear in your face if you're on this path as a plane is landing. Very sketchy, but luckily nobody was there, and I mean nobody. It was completely deserted, and that makes me kind of miss that jolly old lineman from Emporia. left the Lake Country Regional Airport and headed to an even more desolate Brookneal Campbell County Airport, code 0 Victor 4. Welcome to Campbell County Airport. Also, here's where the stamps are collected. Here, it is stored inside a janky double mailbox on the perimeter fence. My friend specifically requested I include it in this video, so here's your janky mailbox art. Climbing out of Brookneal Campbell County Airport, we head for our next stop to Blue Ridge Airport, code Mike Tango Victor, with a flight time of 50 minutes. The last couple of flights I really didn't take many in-flight pictures since there wasn't that much to see, just sparsely populated plains and some solar fields. Now that we're starting to get into the mountains though, things get really exciting. On the ground at Blue Ridge Airport, there was this amazing airside cafe/diner that is open to fly-ins and drive-ins. The cafe is connected to the FBO, and since it was 3 p.m., I was really hungry. I got this really big club sandwich and a warm peach cobbler. I would have gotten pictures, but somehow the food disappeared before I could think about it. Anyways, as my first airside diner experience, it was lovely. Soon after we finished up, we got ready for our flight back to Blacksburg. last flight takes us out of Martinsville Blue Ridge Regional Airport, code Mike Tango Victor, over to Blacksburg Montgomery County Executive Airport, code Bravo Charlie Bravo, with a flight time of about 40 minutes. This time, I took a bunch of photos because there were things to photograph for once, so please enjoy those too in a brand new way. Well, that concludes my crazy journey airport hopping across Southern Virginia. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know I did. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the skies.